apartment. When the deputies continued to question the Harrisons, walk around the property, and look through windows, they called Mr. Tartt, who walked over to the Harrisons' residence from his nearby home. The interaction that followed was captured on Deputy Martin's body camera.
Just because in the season that we're living in, I think it's important that I have your names.
What do you mean, ma'am?
A lot of crazy stuff going on. And so having your name makes me feel more secure. As I said, we came here June 28th. You know, we're actually new here.
Okay.
And for the police officers in this area to come up and say, "Are you growing marijuana?" That is preposterous to me.
Is just a question, ma'am.
Yeah, well, I get that. And so then my only question to you is your names, just so it's okay in my own heart and mind. And when I say the season we're living in, you know the season we're living in.
Y'all concerned about something over here at this house?
This house?
No, that house.
Yes.
What's the problem?
Who lives there?
Mr. Ferguson. He's probably there now. He's 79.
Okay. All right. What's your name, sir?
Jason Tartt.
Jason Tartt.
Tartt.
And what do you mean by the season we're living in, ma'am?
Sir.
What do you need? You got any questions for me?
No, I'll collect some information from you in a minute, your name and date of birth and such.
What do you need my information for?
You own these two homes, correct?
They snatched a 66-year-old man off his own front porch. We all knew this was coming. You know just like I know that when you stand up to the system pushes back hard. This isn't just a story about a small-town police department in West Virginia. This is a story about the files they keep on you, the power they think they have over you, and what happens when a regular American decides he's had enough. They don't want you to know about the lawsuit that followed because it exposes the raw nerve of the abuse. But once you see the body camera footage, you can't unsee it. The outrage starts with a simple question. What happens when the police show up at your door asking about something you know nothing about? For Donnie and Ventress Harrison, that question became a waking nightmare.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers obstruction, the right to film police officers, and warrantless arrests, and is brought to us by the Civil Rights Lawyers channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On August 7th, 2020, deputies Dalton Martin and Jordan Horn of the McDowell County Sheriff's Office in West Virginia approached 66-year-old Donnie Harrison and his 63-year-old wife Ventress while they were sitting on the front porch of the home they rented from former military police officer Jason Tartt. The deputies asked the Harrisons about 4 alleged marijuana plants that were found in some overgrown brush at a nearby property owned by a third party, and they both denied any involvement.
These weren't criminals. They were a couple in their 60s, sitting on the porch of a home they rented from a former military police officer named Jason Tartt. They had only been in town for a few weeks. And then the deputies came. They weren't looking for a fugitive. They were looking for 4 little plants in a field. The officers tried to use that as an excuse to dig into their lives, to walk around their property, to look through the windows. It wasn't about drugs. It was about control. The Harrisons knew something felt wrong. That gut feeling, that's the part of you that knows the elite don't play fair. They called their landlord, Jason Tartt. They thought he would clear it up. They didn't realize they were calling the one man in the county who wasn't afraid to say no to a badge. That's where Jason Tartt enters the picture. He's the unlikely hero here, a military man, a man who knows the law. He walks over to the porch, and the deputies immediately start demanding his identity. They tell him he has to give his name and his date of birth because he owns property near the spot where the plants were found. But Jason sees through it. You know, just like I know, that this wasn't about security. This was about submission. He asks them why they need his birthday. He tells them his property has nothing to do with a field down the road. And that's when the mask slips. The deputy tells him if he doesn't comply, He's going to
reason why the citizen's name is being sought in relation to the officer's official duties. While the deputies did communicate a reason for requesting Mr. Tartt's name by claiming that they needed it due to the proximity of the properties he owned to the alleged marijuana plants, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over West Virginia, determined in the 2021 case of Wingate versus Fulford that the application of a local stop and identify ordinance was unconstitutional, quote, when applied outside the context of a valid investigatory stop, and that, quote, a valid investigatory stop, supported by Terry-level suspicion, is a constitutional prerequisite to enforcing stop and identify statutes. Applying this reasoning, it is likely that a court would find that the deputies could not constitutionally arrest Mr. Tartt for refusing to identify himself in this situation, although the case law establishing this was not issued until after this incident occurred. It should also be noted that Mr. Tartt did provide his name when the deputies first asked, and because the case law likewise does not authorize an arrest for refusing to provide a date of birth, it is likely that a court would conclude that Mr. Tartt's conduct did not rise to the level of obstruction.
Go get a pen and piece of paper.
Reason to believe what? Why? Because these houses are here? Do you understand that there's a lot of traffic going through here?
Since we've lived here, people come up here and they park there and we don't know where the hell they go, and then they come back out.
I don't have a problem giving you my information. I'm just
Okay, well,
trying
that's
to
all I
understand
need. It doesn't have to be an argument. I mean, just give me your name and date of birth, dude. It's easy.
It's not easy. My property has nothing to do with what you found.
Okay. Well, we're just making sure of that.
Well, you scared me. I mean,
Scared you?
Who says that? Who
By asking you a question?
who comes up and asks? That's crazy.
And it scared you?
I'm trying to understand what
It scared you by me asking you a question.
Growing marijuana?
And that's a question. To say somebody scared you because they asked you a question is ridiculous.
That's preposterous.
Go ahead and give me your name, sir.
Wait.
First name.
It's ridiculous to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's not ridiculous.
Your
over
first
here.
name.
I'm not giving you my information.
Sir, if you refuse to give me your information, I'm going to arrest you.
That's fine. My property has nothing to do with any marijuana whatsoever. You're going to arrest me if I don't give you my name and date of birth.
It's obstructing an officer.
How?
Because you're hindering me from doing my job. You're hindering
How
me
am
from
I hindering you from doing your
Sir.
job if it's not on my property?
Last chance to give me your name and date of birth, sir.
How am I hindering you?
Sir, last chance to give me your name and date of birth.
How am I hindering you?
Place your hands behind your back. Place your hands behind your back.
They don't just arrest him. They violate the sanctity of the home. They push the elderly couple into their own house. Donnie Harrison pulls out his phone. He knows he has a right to record. We all know that. The First Amendment is the last line of defense against the demonic behavior we see from corrupt institutions. But the deputy doesn't want to witness. He forces Mr. Harrison back inside. He closes the door on him. He physically
Are you
removes...
going to give me your name and date of birth?
Take me to jail. You're right. I'm hindering you from doing your job. Please.
I'll see if I can find you by name first.
No, I'm hindering you from doing your
This
job.
is really going out off the
Yeah,
deep
this is
end.
how you guys.
This is bad.
This is,
112 control.
this is how you operate.
This is a wrap.
I'm hindering you from doing your
That's why I
job.
needed their...
Y'all need to go inside. Again, you two go inside. Go inside.
I'm afraid
Go
now,
inside.
to tell you the truth.
Go inside.
On my own porch?
No, go inside as of right now.
Tell me why.
Go inside.
What are you doing,
Step off
man?
the porch. Step off the porch.
I'll step off.
Go inside.
What are you doing? This is unnecessary for
Sir,
you to be
go
doing
inside.
This. He's standing on his own porch.
Go inside.
Don't come in my house.
Go inside. Step back. Go inside.
That's completely uncalled for.
When Mr. Harrison starts filming the interaction between the deputies and Mr. Tartt, Deputy Martin forces the Harristons into their home, pushing Mr. Harrison into his doorway and closing the door behind him, effectively preventing him from continuing to record the encounter. While many federal circuits have acknowledged that the First Amendment protects the right to film the police and the performance of their duties, the Fourth Circuit, which includes West Virginia, has not. In the 2009 case of Jameski versus Houck, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals held that an individual's First Amendment right to record police activities on public property was not clearly established in the circuit. However, because the Jameski decision did not weigh in on whether such a right existed, the state of the law regarding the right to film the police in the Fourth Circuit has remained unclear. In the 2021 case of Hulbert versus Pope, a U.S. District Court denied qualified immunity to an officer who arrested two individuals in February of 2018 for recording the police on the public sidewalk in front of the Maryland State House. Although parties typically cannot file an appeal until...
If they weren't doing something wrong, why were they so afraid of a camera? Why did they silence the citizens they are sworn to protect? And then the breadcrumbs start to fall. Why did the deputy fail to show up to the court hearing for the charges he filed? That's right. The obstruction charge was dismissed because Deputy Martin couldn't even be bothered to face the man he arrested. What was he hiding? What did he know was coming? Because Jason Tartt and the Harrisons didn't run away.
Is private, as is the yard surrounding the house, it is clear that under the cases interpreting the Fourth Amendment, Santana was in a public place. What a person knowingly exposes to the public, even in his own house or office, is not a subject of Fourth Amendment protection. Relying heavily on this case, in the 2003 case of United States versus Hagerman, the United States District Court in the Western District of Virginia, which is part of the Fourth Circuit, upheld the warrantless arrest of an individual on his lawn when an officer told him to come down from his porch and arrested him once he came into the yard. Citing the Santana decision, the court determined that because the defendant emerged from his home onto the porch voluntarily, and the officer, without drawing a weapon, asked him to come down to the lawn, the warrantless arrest was valid. Notably, the Santana and Hagerman cases were both decided well before Longa versus California and Collins versus Virginia. So it is possible that a court would conclude that Mr. Tartt could not be constitutionally arrested without a warrant on the porch or the yard of his property based on this precedent. However, because the Longa case involved an entry to a garage rather than a yard or porch, and the Collins case involved a search rather than a seizure, it is also possible that a court would distinguish this situation from those.
They filed a massive federal lawsuit. They are taking the fight to the system that tried to crush them. It's a lawsuit that asks the big questions. Can police arrest you on your own porch without a warrant?
The case has been completely resolved in the lower court. The defendant filed what is known as an interlocutory appeal under Section 1292 of Title 28 of the U.S. Code, which states that, quote, when a district judge, in making in a civil action an order not otherwise appealable, shall be of the opinion that such order involves a controlling question of law as to which there is substantial ground for difference of opinion, and that an immediate appeal from the order may materially advance the ultimate termination of the litigation, he shall so state in writing in such order. The Court of Appeals, which would have jurisdiction of an appeal of such action, may thereupon, in its discretion, permit an appeal to be taken from such order. The defendant's interlocutory appeal to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals argued that the arrest was proper, and that video and audio recording of the police was not a so-called clearly established First Amendment right. As of the date of writing this episode, this case is still pending, but when the Fourth Circuit issues a decision, it will hopefully clarify whether the circuit recognizes the right to film the police and the performance of their duties. Until this decision is released, it is difficult to predict how a court would rule on whether Deputy Martin violated Mr. Harrison's First Amendment rights by forcing him to stop filming, and if such a right was clearly established at the time of this encounter.
Come on.
Look, man, don't, listen. You don't have to, listen, man.
You're being recorded.
Listen. This is, listen. I can walk without you putting your damn hands on me, you understand? I have not broken the law.
Walk to the vehicle. Well, walk to the vehicle, sir. You're being recorded.
Hands on me. I give you no reason to touch me.
I'm going to arrest you then. Place your hands behind your back.
Uncalled for.
Place your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back.
Place your hands behind your back.
Listen.
Just relax.
Can they stop me from filming them? The highest courts in the land have ruled on the curtilage of your home. The land around your house is sacred. It is your castle.
Okay.
Just
relax.
Place your hands behind your back. Please place your hands behind your back.
My hand is behind my...
Place your
it
hands
only
behind
takes one of you.
Place your hands...
Look, let him do it. All right? Take your hands off me.
That's fine. Okay.
Let him do it.
Let's walk this way.
Deputy Martin initiates an arrest against Mr. Tartt on the porch by ordering him to place his hands behind his back. He then orders him to step down, and Deputy Horn handcuffs and arrests him in the driveway area immediately in front of the home. In general, the Supreme Court has long recognized that the land immediately surrounding and associated with the home, known as the curtilage, is considered part of the home itself for Fourth Amendment purposes. The court held in the 2021 case of Longa versus California that without other exigent circumstances, the pursuit of a fleeing misdemeanor suspect does not justify an officer's warrantless entry into a home or its curtilage. Further, in the 2018 case of Collins versus Virginia, the court concluded that, quote, When a law enforcement officer physically intrudes on the curtilage to gather evidence, a search within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment has occurred. Such conduct, thus, is presumptively unreasonable absent a warrant. Based on this precedent, it would seem that officers cannot arrest an individual in the curtilage of their home absent exigent circumstances justifying the intrusion. However, in the 1976 case of United States v. Watson, the Supreme Court held that the warrantless arrest of an individual in a public place upon probable cause did not violate the Fourth Amendment. And later that year, the court decided in the case of United States v. Santana that the front door of an individual's home was considered a so-called public place for the purposes of the Fourth Amendment. In reaching this conclusion, the court reasoned that, quote, while it may be true that under the law of property, the threshold of one's dwelling...
Yet these officers acted like they were kicking in the doors of a third world country. This connects to the larger culture war happening right now. You see it everywhere. The same people who tell you to trust the authorities are the ones hiding the body cam files. The same media that calls you a conspiracy theorist for questioning the FBI is silent when a 66-year-old man is manhandled on his own steps. But you aren't fooled. You saw this coming. The disrespect for private property, the hatred for anyone who refuses to bow down. It's not just about Jason Tartt. It's about every American who has been made to feel like a criminal for standing in their own yard. It's about the fight for the soul of this country. And the scales of justice are not balanced right now. So the anger stays with us. The lawsuit is pending.
Those decisions and hold that the location of Mr. Tartt's arrest did not violate the Fourth Amendment.
He owns two properties right here on this Baptist Drive road. We located a marijuana grow, probably not 100 foot, 50 foot from this last property of his, and he just won't give us his name, date of birth.
10-4, deal white male, black male.
Black male.
After placing Mr. Tartt in the back of the police cruiser and radioing in his arrest, Deputy Martin gathered the alleged marijuana plants and placed them in the trunk of the vehicle, presumably to take to the station as evidence. Mr. Tartt was charged with obstruction of a law enforcement officer, but the case was dismissed by the prosecuting attorney on October 28, 2020, because Deputy Martin failed to appear in court. On August 9, 2022, Mr. Tartt and the Harrisons filed a federal lawsuit against the deputies, and as of the date of writing this episode, the case is still pending. Overall, Deputy Martin and Deputy Horn get an F for maintaining a hostile and aggressive demeanor throughout the encounter, arresting Mr. Tartt for refusing to provide his name when he had already provided it, and preventing Mr. Harrison from filming their arrest of Mr. Tartt by forcing him into his own home when there were clearly no safety concerns. Although it is possible that the officers will be granted qualified immunity for at least some of their actions in this encounter, it is important to note that this does not mean
the cops are still on the payroll. Jason Tartt has a mark on his back because he dared to ask why. The Harrisons are living in fear because they asked for a name. Where is the justice in that? Where is the outcry from the people who claim to care about the Constitution? They will try to bury this story. They will hope you forget. But you won't, because you know the truth. The question I leave you with is this. If they will do this to an innocent man on his porch in broad daylight, what will they do to you when no one is watching? Let me know in the comments what you would have done if you were standing there. I want to hear it.